Hello everyone. Today we have another BMW E30 episode. This car is in perfect condition. Let me remind you that the car has not been welded and not damaged, it was painted once. I can say with confidence that this will be the best sedan body type in Ukraine. Let me remind you that the car is 3 liters M54 B30 fully legitimized with a very cool interior. If you are interested, watch the first episodes and then check out this episode. I want to start with the fact that we will install MTech 2, which I customized in the previous episode. It was a hell of a job, but all this is behind us. We have already painted it. And after that I will drive the car out and show from all sides how cool it looks. Then I plan to work on the exhaust, install thick stabilizers, and so on.
Очень хорошо получилось. Класс.
Bumpers are installed, still only install screws around the edges here. The bumpers need to be installed so that everything will be cool. One fastener here because in the original it constantly sags. Then I want to paint it all in white. Why are they needed in black? I'll tell you that even now installing a painted part is also not an easy job. Double-sided tape is everywhere. This is so because water does not get here. Well, in short, I need to install it perfectly so that everything will be even. Guys, the rear bumper is already installed, with mounts below. Spoiler stands. Here you can see what kind of space technology device we have here. In general, a hard brick. Here we warm up this surface and we warm up the upper shelf so that it sets into place, because you can see the side skirt lay for a long time. Yes, and like this up because there are plastic nuts on the door pods. In general, there is a shelf in place, you can't just put it in place with nuts, everything will be scratched. This is TI, but I love this car, guys. Well, what am I talking about? Yesterday there were door pods, today I'm shooting in one word, I love my job, I told you that. Double-sided tape needs to be here. It must have started to peel off. I contacted the officials and they told me that this type of tape is not suitable. I took it very thin and they explained what adhesive tape does not fit there, and I took 1 mm of primer thickness and I will re-glue the door pods to start the back glue. I will observe if everything is fine. Let's re-glue. Look at the front, guys, it can be seen very well, where you see almost no thin tape. And that's where the new tape is glued, and immediately visible black stripe. I wanted to make it cool, but it turned out as always. Our holes for cooling the brakes, there are pipes inside like this. But when you install the bumper like MTech 2, pipes starting to be short. But in the original sets pipes are longer. It is simpler to fly in space than by those pipes. For that situation extension cords are on the market. Let me show you. I bought it in Germany, they are soft, they are printed and simply inserted inside. Guys, I bought original MTech stickers. Stickers need to be glued on the spoiler, and the last two need to be at the bottom of body quarters. This hell is behind. You see, everything is already in place. Now I want to go outside, and show you it from all sides so that you can appreciate the installation, which I worked on for so long, and door pods and so on. Please write in the comments after you look at all this. Is MT beautiful or not? And in general, how will it look better? I will insert 2 frames. What car was and what it is now. Then compare it in the comments.
И вообще, как лучше, я вставлю 2 первых кадра, какая машина была изначально, и потом сравните с тем, что у нас сейчас получилось.
And let's see what we made. Now I want to work on the exhaust system, so I bought an equal length collector that gives an increase in power. I already measured from 0 to 200 km/h and 100 to 200, and we'll see what we get after I change the entire exhaust line. We have Schmidtmann collectors. They have a slightly thicker wall, so that there are no external sound, 2 direct flow resonators, direct flow pipes, 2 outputs, all 60 mm, such a pipe diameter so that there are no external sounds. So that in the future it would be possible to put a compressor. Similar exhaust system is installed in my new friend's BMW, and the compressor is also. In general, I examined the sound from the video and I like this exhaust. These equal-length collectors will be installed. They are called Schmidtmann somehow like this. That is, they are not the cheapest. Well, it seems like these flanges are not bad. We will cut them off. I extinguished them from stainless steel. I already consulted. We welded them down here and our route is already 260 centimeters. Will be a bank straight exactly 60 mm double inlet outlet and 2 resonators also 60 mm. Well, in short, probably the exhaust will sound like a gun, it will be loud. Well, I really hope. So we continue to work. Now let's take a ruler and let's check this place. Because, after all, this is not a factory product. It seems like it's not bad. I can work with sandpaper just a little bit. In general, 2 collectors sit on their seats, but no matter how I try, they don't come in. I removed 2 stabilizers, now I'll remove the engine paw, then it will be 100% successful for our collector in its place. You can see one collector has more or less installed. But it rests against the gearbox, so I can cut off a little corner there. Well, it would seem to be more or less. But there's simply nowhere to go at all. We've already cut off the flange. In general, colossal improvements are required here. But we are ready for that. Something is already happening. We cut the gearbox a little bit. I took direct flow resonators. Also bought an X pipe. Bought a haul of taps. A stainless steel pipe lies here. A straight-through muffler instead of this hefty one. An old muffler will be sold. In my opinion, this muffler is from 36 body.
All the signs, but I couldn't run then. I don't blame myself, couldn't see it coming.
I lifted it up as much as possible, so that it would not hang from below, and painted it a little. It seems like everything is beautiful.
Take your hand, just to leave you feeling stupid. Hey, don't call me up, I know you know what you did, so I'm telling apologize. Lately I've realized that what goes around comes back around. What goes around comes back around.
So guys, the track is already in its place. Now it will be the finishing installation of these collectors. Everything was welded, checked, nothing rests. New gaskets and a few new studs.
He loses. I know they seem to understand now.
Ну вот и всё, ребята.
Well, that's all guys, our exhaust is completely ready, everything turned out. In general, everything I wanted we made. We squeeze the bottom as much as possible, so that you cannot see parts when you stand on the side. Or when you drive behind the car, you may often notice some older cars down there, all these pipes hanging down, it's very, very ugly. We bent it somewhere, squeezed it somewhere, pushed it in general, it turned out as I wanted. While the car is on our lift, I want to immediately install the thick stabilizers that I ordered in America, in order to prevent car leanings when drifting, and the handling was a little sharper. Let's do it. Our stabilizers are those which I told about. Ultra Racing Company. Rear 19 mm thick, front 20. New bushings, new fasteners, grease. In short, let's see what it will change, because the last drift showed that the rear part rolls very strongly. It's unrealistic to drive good.
Don't wanna hear it's too late for apologize. Lately I've realized that what goes around comes back around. What goes around comes back around.
The stabilizers are already in their place, everything is tightened, everything is beautiful. The eye's ache appears when I see arms, levers, struts, calipers, and subframes. Everything needs to be sandblasted and painted with black powder paint. Well, of course everything needs its time. Perhaps it will all be painted. And so this is an old car. The old technologies are still used here. There is a rubber bushing which, springs, dampens, that is, it controls some millimeters here, but here it's already 2 or 3 times more on the wheel, that is, we lose handling. My new friend with the BMW E30 suggested that I can install such ones with tips, that is, already no rubber bands like in modern models. And they also make an arm here, they put a long one and weld to the strut. Well, I don't want to do this, because it is all difficult to disassemble and so on. I bought this thing. I think this is a Sport Mondeo. I will show it, maybe someone wants for themselves. I already tried it on, it seems like everything fits. I'll put it on and tell you, or everything is cool. My stabilizers are installed. This place is without any reworks and additional parts. Now we will install a rear stabilizer. This is the rear stabilizer that I had installed, and this is a new tuning one. Look at the difference, it's crazy. Let's measure it with a barbell. So we have 12 mm rear. 12 mm is just a joke. And the new one is 19 mm thick. Rear stabilizer installed. And now I can't wait to do the drift tests, to see how the rear will lead, and listen to the exhaust. In general, we packed the car, the exhaust is installed, the stabilizers are standing. Now it's time to listen to what it was before the alteration, the sound that I didn't like, and then compare with what we have done in different modes. We will test it at idle, acceleration, in a drift, on drag racing, measure from 0 to 200 km per hour and so on. Let's do it. I am
Шутка.
joking.
Ну давайте погазуем.
Let's listen
Звук
to
на
the sound of the
холостых.
car in idle mode. In general, our test drive passed. What can I say about the exhaust? I am very, very pleased. Write in the comments. Did you like the sound or not? There is no rumble in the cabin. Well, it feels like there is an exhaust when you accelerate L. Such a beautiful roar. That is, it's a pleasure to ride around the city. There are shots when you change speeds, and so on not, but I want more. In the future, of course, I will set up some kind of shots in the region of 5 or 6,000 revolutions, such powerful good ones and with fire. But it will be a little later, not the time for such sounds that the exhaust gave us. Of course, I added a little power. I measured the car before the exhaust upgrade from 0 to 200 and from 100 to 200. I will paste screenshots from the draggy devices here, and then I took a measurement, but it was already hotter and still the car went fast from 0 to 200 and 100 to 200 for almost a second, even a little more than a second. It took us well. The result is not bad. In general, we definitely received an increase in power. But then it will be a compressor. I also want to put an intake manifold here, M50B25. There are more wounds, respectively, more air should be cool. Well, in terms of stabilizers, in general, I am also very, very pleased. I felt this difference, that is, according to the front end we all have no rubber bands. I changed the heavy stabilizer, we achieved the sharp control, it's cool, we are moving closer and closer to karting. But we have a comfortable karting, that is, of course, we have some kind of shock absorbers, because the karting suspension does not have shock absorbers. When you take the steering wheel, you immediately want to ride into every crack, everywhere. Well, I'm not one of those people who will do some stunts around the city, but it's very, very cool to ride. On the back now we don't have these rolls when you drift. When the car is already sideways the stabilizer gets up and does its job, but I want to change the stabilizer arms, because there is the bushings rubber, it's very soft, when in those places there is in millimeters, but for wheels those millimeters become centimeters. And I'll change the bushings like at the front one, and then it will be done 100%. In general, we are in the process of building a car, money is being spent, but I'll tell you for sure that it's absolutely not a pity for me to spend money on it, because when I ride it, I get a lot of pleasure. I don't know why. Who knows? Be sure to write in the comments why such old cars bring such crazy emotions. Car feels like a cart, it is small, it is short and very cool. Even when you own such a difficult and alive car you already get a lot of positive emotions. Stay tuned. Subscribe. And I'll leave the link in the description. In general, I am finishing this video. Goodbye.